Hello everyone, today we're going to be making a Wikipedia app with GOLANG. I haven't seen any other YouTube tutorials on how to do this tutorial in particular. It's kind of just sitting on Go's official website, so I decided to make a video. So I'm going to show you guys a little run through on how the program works, and then we'll get straight into it. So the way that this program works is we can go into the URL and type in something like /view and then the title of an article or a wiki page. In this case, the title will be test. When we go to the page, we can check out the title and the contents of the article. So we can see the title is test, and then there's some random gibberish at the bottom. We can go ahead and click on the edit link to go to the edit page, which you can use to edit an article. So I'm just going to change some stuff here, and then hit save, and then you can see it changed. Cool. Now, if we try to view an article that doesn't exist, like, for example, I don't know, Gerald, it will instantly take us to the edit page so that we can create that article ourselves, as you can see in the URL. So I'm just going to type in here, Gerald is a great guy. Alright, and then I'm going to hit save, and then it will instantly take us back to the view page. So yeah, that's pretty much how the project works. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so first of all, you're going to need to get Go installed. We can just do that from the official golang.org website. I've already got it installed, so I'm not going to show you, but the instructions on how to do it are pretty, full and through on the official Go website anyway. And before we get into it, I just want to let you guys know, this whole tutorial is completely based off of the official Go web applications tutorial that they have on their site. So if you want a sort of a text version of this tutorial, you can go ahead and go over to the site and check it out there. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, let's open up a terminal, and then I'm just going to make my Go Wiki directory, and then I'll cd into Go Wiki. Okay, so in here we'll just open up Visual Studio Code. It opened up on my other screen, so I'll just bring that over here. Okay, make that a little bit bigger. Cool. Alright, so let's make our main.go file. Okay, so with Go, you're going to want to define a package. So we can say package main. Okay, so let's just make a really quick hello world app. Okay, so we'll type out our main function here, fmt.println hello world. Okay, and that should import FMT for us there. So if you're using Visual Studio Code, you're definitely going to want to install the Go extension. It gives you a lot of good support. The first time you use it, it might pop up with a little notification saying that it needs to install some extra stuff on top of it. Go ahead and do that, because it'll give you a bunch of code completion, like what I just did, automatic imports, really handy stuff like that. Okay. Okay, so now that we've got our Hello World application done, let's talk about how we're going to structure this app, right? So with a regular page, we're going to have sort of in an article, right? You're going to have a title and then a body of text, which is going to be like, what you'd actually read, the actual article. We can go ahead and describe that information just using a regular struct, right? So I'll get rid of this import here. And let's just go ahead and type that out. So let's do type, alright, page, struct. Cool. So, like I said, we'll have a title, which is going to be a string. Now, because we're going to be working with files, we're going to be using the io/ioutil package, which it accepts like a slice of bytes instead of a string. So our body of text will be of type slice, and then bytes will be in that slice, right? Okay, so we need a way to be able to save a page, right, with a title and a body as the input parameters. So let's go ahead and make that method. Okay, so we're going to make a method for this struct here. So we're going to make a func, all right? It's going to be a pointer receiver, I think that's what that's called. I'm not quite sure, but this is going to return an error. That's not how you spell error. All right, there we go. So now in here, we're first going to need a file name because we're going to be storing this with files, right? So we're going to have a file name, which is going to be equal to p.title, right, plus .txt, because we're going to be working with text files, so we want the .txt extension there. All right, and then we will return the ioutil .write file, and then we'll have the title be our file name. The p.body is going to be what we write into the file, and then we're going to have to give it a code, which is going to be 0600. Now the 0600 just means that this file will have both read and write permission, so we'll be able to read and write to it throughout the program. Okay, so now let's make a function that loads a file, right, that's able to go ahead and just load up a file for us, or read the file for us and give us back the information. So we can make a function like so. So func, I'll call it load page. It's going to take in a title because it needs to know what file it's loading. Okay, it will return a pointer to the page struct. Okay, first of all, we need to create a file name, which is basically just going to be the title with .txt on the end. So it's going to be equal to title plus .txt. Okay, and then we'll have body. We're not going to do error handling right now. We will do in a minute. All right, this will be ioutil .read file name. Okay, cool. So we're going to return a page pointer, a page object, whatever you want to call it, with the title is equal to the title that we just defined, and the body, okay, is going to be equal to the body that we got when we read the file. Okay, really quickly, we'll just run through some error handling here. So this also will return an error to us, so we can put error there, and then we can just say, you know, if error is not equal to nil, then return nil, an error. Okay, now since we are returning an error, we also need to come up here. We need to put this in parentheses. All right, split it with a comma, and then say type of error could also be returned. All right, and then down here at the end, we need to put a comma and then put a nil here, because this does not return an error at this point. Okie doke. So from here, let's go ahead and just run this through and see if it works. So I'll just save this file. You will need to import this package as well. This is going to moan at me because I haven't put a comment above this, so I'll just say page describes how we will present an article. There we go. And that should fix that. So it's going to moan at me because we don't have a main function. Okay, cool. So we need a func main. Okay. So let's go ahead and just make some random information, and we'll store it in a variable called p1. Okay. So we're going to have a page struct. Okay. What am I? I just thought I was doing the wrong thing, but I am doing the right thing. Let's just call this test as a title, and the body will be, remember it has to be a slice of bytes, so we'll just do this. So, and then we can do that, and then we can put regular text in here. This will automatically convert it into a slice of bytes. So this is a test page. Cool. Okay, so now we need to call the save method on this. So p1.save. Okay, and then we can just say p2, and we'll just do an underscore, will be equal to our load page function. Whoops, I messed that up a little bit. I really got to learn how to touch type. So we have to give this the title, remember? So we're going to give it test. Okay, so that should load the file, and then we can just print it out. So fmt.println, and we can just print out p2. Now remember, p2 is going to receive, both the title and the body. So we need to specifically ask for the body. Okay. And this is also going to give us out a slice of bytes. So we need to convert this into a string, which we can do like so. Okay. What? I got rid of it by accident. All right. So we've got a problem. Okay. Let's take a look. Load page test. Load page. Load page. This should be capital. Sorry, my mistake. You're going to see a lot of that in this tutorial. Okay. So I'm going to bring my terminal back up, and we can just do go run main.go. Boom, this is a test page. Now, we also made the file here, as you can see, with the contents of this as a test page, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now we can start messing with web stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to comment this out for now. We'll probably delete it later. I did not mean to do that. We'll comment that out for now. We'll come back to that in a bit. Okay, so to mess with web, well, first of all, come up here. I'm sorry if I forget to explain the imports. If you have the Go extension installed, it shouldn't be a problem, but I'll try to remember to say it. So we need the net/http package, which is part of the Go standard library. Okay, and then here we can say http.handlefunc. Okay, so now we have to give it a route that we want to handle. So at a specific route, what do we want to show people? So this is just the regular home route, or a regular /. All right, and then in here we need to basically give it a callback function. Okay, so we need to give it a function here. Now, what the parameters of this function usually are going to be w, which is of type http.responsewriter, and r, which is a pointer to an http.request. Okay. This is not going to return anything, so there's no type for that. So we are going to have in here, we're just going to say fmt.print, sorry, not that, .f print f, okay? This is going to take in a few arguments. So first of all, it takes w, because it needs to actually be able to write a response. Remember, w is of type http.responsewriter. This is what you'd use to write a response back in a web application. Okay? And then we'll actually give it some HTML. This can be regular text if you want it to be, but you can put HTML in here if you want, which is what I'm going to do. Okay? Okay, so I'll just say hi. My name is, okay? And then in Go, we can do a placeholder value by just typing in %s, right? If we do a placeholder, we can come to the end of the string and put another comma here, all right? So let's say we want people to be able to say their name is whatever the URL path is, right? So the way we can access the URL path that they're at right now is r.url.path. Okay, it's pretty simple, right? Okay, so the next thing we need to do is go ahead and let's go ahead and actually host a web server locally, of course. So to do that, we can do http.listen and serve. Okay, then we need to give it a port number. So I'm going to do this on port 3000. And then you need to do a comma and pass in nil. Now, the reason we pass in nil is because basically in the future, if you ever want to use any sort of routing or server sort of framework, they typically use a different middleware to the Go standard stuff that comes with the HTTP package, right? For example, if you've heard of Gorilla Mux, you'd need to pass in another value in here that is not nil, because that needs special middleware in order to be able to work. But since we're using the Go standard library, everything works out of the box fine. You can also create your own middleware if you want, but for the purposes of this tutorial, We're not going to be doing that. Whew. Okay, so that should work. So I'm going to save this, see if we got any errors. We're good. Okay, so let me just open up my terminal again, and I will just go ahead and say go run main.go. Okay, it's, as you can see, it's kind of just staying there now. It's not really moving. So if I come here and I go to port 3000, hello, my name is slash, right? If I go to slash, I don't know, Bob, hey, my name is slash Bob. Let's just get rid of this slash quickly, because that's kind of triggering me. So the way we could do that in Go is you can just do some square brackets like this, do a 1 and then put a colon there. So now what we're saying is only include the characters after the first, after the first index. Okay, so boom, save that. We're gonna need to restart our server again just to fix that one thing. Okay, come back here, refresh, and boom, my name is Bob. Obviously, we can still do slash, whatever, and it would still come up, but that doesn't really matter. Okay. Whew. So after this part, we need to move on to something else. We need to actually be able to serve some wiki pages. Okay. So we need to be able to create a page where we can view an article of some sort. Okay. So to do that, we're going to need something called a view handler. And before we get into view handlers, I just want to show you one more thing. This whole function, because it's just a callback function, what we can do is we can create a new function here called handler. Okay. This is also going to take in W and R, right? It's the same as what we have down here. But if I take this, I literally just copy and paste this whole thing and put it there, we can actually just get rid of this whole function and move it somewhere else. And then we can just pass in the name of this function. This is exactly the same as the other one we had, but it looks, a little bit cleaner, in my opinion. And if you saved it and ran it, it would still work exactly as the other one did. I'm not going to do that because there's no real point. So I want you to just have this idea when we're working on what we have, because it's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the programming tutorial. Okay. I'm also just really quickly, I'm going to get rid of this. All right, cool. So let's create a view handler. So we're going to create a function called view handler. All right, this is going to take in W and R. Okay. And then in here, we need a title. All right, we need a title for the article. So we're going to have a title, which is going to be equal to the r.url.path. Okay. Now, basically the way this works, if you can remember from the intro, is in the URL, there will actually be they'll have to type in view. They'll have to type in view to be able to view an article. So in order to get the title that comes after that part of the URL, we're just going to need to remove that part from the string that we're going to get when this returns the path of the URL. So the way we can do that in Go is by doing what we did before with the other URL, the way we got rid of the slash. Now, I don't want to count how many characters are in that string, so we can just use the built-in len function into Go to count the length of this string for me. Okay? And then that will just leave us with whatever comes after this ending slash, which will be the title of the article that whoever, was trying to view it wants to view. Okay? Whew. Okay, I almost forgot the colon. You need the colon there as well. Okay? Cool. So then we can have a P and an underscore. We will get back to the error handling shortly, I promise. We'll have a load page. We'll call our load page function, and we'll pass in the title. This is just going to go ahead and look for the file, try and read it, try and send it back. Okay, fmt.fprintf. Okay, and then in here, we have to pass in W again, remember? And then we can just pass in HTML. So we'll pass in 2 placeholders this time, because we want both the title and the body of text. So in the H1, I will go ahead and pass in our title. Okay, so this placeholder will be for our title, and then I'll just create a div. My typing skills are unparalleled. Jesus. Okay, and then we'll just do another placeholder. Now that we've done 2 placeholders, we can do 2 more commas to like put stuff in there. So in here, I can say p.title and then p.body. Okie doke. So that should work fine. I believe we didn't have another printf anyway, did we? No. Okay, cool. So that's fine. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so that's fine. Let's save it. Make sure I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so in the main function, we can go back to http dot handle func. Okay, and then we want to handle the /view/route. Okay, this is the route we want to handle with this function. We're going to do the view handler. We just need the name. We don't need parentheses after it. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So we can save that and we can rerun our program. Okay, and we can go back here. Now if I go to /view/test, which is the name of the file that we created, a while ago, and hit enter, you can see it's actually displaying the file in the web, which is pretty cool, right? At this point, all we need to do is be able to edit and create new files. So we're basically one piece of the puzzle down, right? So that's pretty cool. So let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. Whew. I'm having a stinker today. Okie doke. So now we need to work on being able to edit pages, right? So let's create an edit handler for that. Okie doke. Let's create a function. So func edit handler. Handler. Okie doke. This is going to take in W and R as well. Okay. Not square brackets. We want curly braces. So the same thing as the view handler. I'll actually just copy it here. We're just going to change view to edit because we only want to get the title, which is after this n/, right? Okay. Whew. All right. So now we're going to have P, and we're actually going to do some error handling. Okay, we're actually going to do it now. So I'll explain a little bit in a bit how this works. Okay, so title. Okay. So if error is not null, then P is going to be equal to, without a colon because we're just reassigning P this time, it's going to be equal to &page. Alright. I'm trying to look it up here. So the title will be title that we have, right? Basically, the way this works is it will just send you to a form, okay? Instead of trying to do anything fancy. Okay. So at this point, we could do like an fmt dot, fprintf, and then we could put a form in there. I don't feel like doing that. Let's make an HTML template, alright? Because I'm not about to write a whole form like that, right? So let's go back up to our imports, okay? And let's get the template /HTML. Sorry, that's the wrong way around. It's HTML /template. Template. Okay, cool. HTML /template package. Okay. So from here, let's go ahead and create an HTML template. So let's call this edit.html. Okay. So in VS Code, I can just do !tab to get this boilerplate. I'm just going to say that I'm going to call this the edit page. Okay. All right, let's do this. So let's create an H1 and let's tell the person what they're editing. Okay, so right now they're editing, so editing, and then we'll put the title of the struct in here. So I'll do .title. Okay, so I'll tell them exactly what article they're editing, or the title of it anyway. Then we're going to do form. Okay, the action is going to be /save/ and then I believe it will be title or .title. Okay, yeah, that looks right. All right, we're going to have another thing in here called method, and that's going to be post. Okay. In this form, we need a text area. So we need a text area. The name is going to be body. We don't need an ID. I don't really care about columns or rows right now. In between the text area, we can't just put dot body because it's a slice of bytes, right? Which is a bit annoying, but we can get past it. So we can just say printf, and then we'll just use a placeholder that we learned from before, and then we'll just put dot body. Okay, that's how you print out a slice of bytes as a string in a template. Cool. So then we will need an input, input, and this will be a submit button, basically. So the value here will be submit. Okay. Or save, whatever you want to call it, right? Cool. Actually, we should probably call this save. It's a bit more accurate. Okay, so now we need to go ahead and go back to our edit handler and wire that bad boy up to the template. So we can do that like so. So what we could do is we can say, it's literally just 2 lines. So we can do t and underscore. No error handling for me. It's going to be template dot pass files like that. Okay, and we just want to pass the edit.html file. Okay, from here we're just going to execute the template. So execute. This takes in W because it needs to actually write out the response, and where we were using the sort of dot title and dot body, that needs to actually come from a variable, and the variable that we've stored that stuff in is p. So p. If, because in this case we're not assigning it a body, right? So that should come from the load page. If the file doesn't exist, it defaults to an empty string, so we don't have to worry about that right now. So that should be cool. That should be cool beans. We don't look like we have errors yet. So everything looks good. Okay. I'm going to take a sip of water. Give me 1 sec. Oh, that's nice. So we can just do the same thing for our view handler, right? It's always best to use templates instead of just sending this random stuff. Unless you're working with like plain JSON and you don't really need a template for that. Okay, let's go to view. Let's create a new file called view.html. Again, if I do exclamation mark and press tab, we got this. I'll call this page the view page. Whoop. Okay, in here we don't need anything fancy. I'll just make an h1 and I'll put the title in here, dot title. Okay, we also need, basically we want to have a link for them to be able to go straight to editing in case they see like a mistake or something. So I'll do p, I'll do some square brackets just for dramatic effect. And then we'll just put an A tag in here, and that's not what I meant at all. Okay, let's make some space here. The href is going to be /edit/ I believe we need title dot title of whatever this article is, and then in here we can just say edit. Okay, cool. And then we just need a div here. So div, and then obviously this is a slice of bytes again. So we need to use the method that I showed you earlier, where we did printf, and then we do a placeholder like so, %s, and then dot body. Okay, so that's the view template done. Again, we'll wire this bad boy up. This is basically exactly the same as the other one. Except we have to change this to view.html. Okay, cool. So that is that. Now, as you can see, the same code is showing up in both functions. And whenever this happens, you know what programmers do. They put it in a separate function. So let's build that function out here. So we have a function. I'm just going to call it render template. Okay, like so. This should have W because a template needs W to be inputted, right? The execute needs W, which is going to be of type HTTP dot response writer. We also need the template, or the name of the template, right? So I'll just put template name. That's really bad practice, right? So I'll just put, it should be fine, template name, which is a string, okay? And then we will need p, because we need to pass that into the template as well, and it's a pointer to the page struct, okay? So that's what we need for that. So pretty much, let's copy and paste this, or cut and paste it in this case. Okay, so pretty much the only thing we need to do, okay, is get rid of the view here. To make this accessible to both functions, we can just put template name plus that, and then that's pretty much it, right? That was not hard at all. We can also remove it from here, and then we can just say render template, and we need to pass in, render template, okay? We need to pass in W, I believe, is that right? Yeah. This is the view handler, so we need to pass in string view, okay? And then we need P, which is this bad boy here. Copy, paste, the life of a programmer. Okay, and then just change this to edit. Okay. Whew. Cool. Okay, so we're edging closer. So now we need to work on being able to save a page, right? We need to create a new handler for that, called the save handler, right? So we're going to create a new function called save handler, like that, okay? This is going to just have W and R, like so, okay? So again, we do the same thing as we did before. We need to extract the title from the save. We can do that using the len function, and we just copy and paste and change it to save, because we only want the title, okay? Then we need to get the body of text, okay? So this is a little bit different. So we're going to have the body is going to be equal to, okay, r dot form value, okay, and body. Oh, I messed that up. Body. So what's happening at this point is if we go back to our edit.html page, you can see I said when this form is submitted, we want to post it, right? So the form is just telling it, right? So it's telling my save URL, all right, here's a form value that you need. You're probably going to need this, right? Because we're literally sending you this information. Body is the name. Oops, I just closed another one down. Body is the name of the input here, right? So that's how it works. That's how we're getting the information from the edit page to the save page. Okay. Then we're going to need to actually store this in a variable. So we need P, which is going to be equal to page, where the title is just the title. All right. And the body is just the body that we have here. Okay. Actually, sorry, because the actual input with the form is a string, we need to turn it back into, a slice of bytes. So we will just do, square brackets and then byte, and then we'll wrap this in parentheses like so. Okay. And then we can call the p.save method like that. And then we can do http.redirect. Okay? .redirect. And then redirect takes in W R. Alright, we want to redirect them to be able to view the actual page. Right? So we'll do /view, and then we want to add the title onto the end of that, like so. And then we'll do an http.status found. Is it not showing up? Where are you? Status found. http.status found. Okay? Because we found the status, I guess. I don't know. Something like that. I keep bumping my desk. I'm apologizing for that. Okay, so now we need to handle some errors, right? So with the render template function, there's a bunch of stuff that could go wrong, right? There's a bunch of stuff that could go wrong. So let's handle this error, okay? Let's get this error out of the way. So if there is an error, if error is not equal to nil, in other words, right, then we need to send an http.error, right? http.error. We may as well just send it through, right? This will take in W, which is what used to write the response. Error dot error. Okay. Okie dokie, and then http dot internal server error. Okay. So at this point, we're just saying, yo, all right, we can't render the template. There's a problem with the templates, so we have an internal server error. We can't serve you the templates anymore. If that's the case, we also may as well return from the function. There's literally no point carrying on. Okay. This dot execute also, whoops, what did I just do? Okay. Where were we? Sorry. We were at the render template function. Okay. So this t.execute also returns an error. So we may as well reassign that. We'll reuse the same variable from before, which means no colon here. Okay. We will go ahead and say if the execution goes wrong, okay, then we will send an http.error. Okay. This also, has to write a response, so it takes in W. Error.error. Okay. And then this is the same thing, http.internal server error. Okay. We've also got to fix up save handler because we ignored quite a bit here actually. Okay. So with p.save, in case you didn't remember, this returns an error. Okay. So we're going to have to account for that in case that does happen. So with a colon, we'll set error equal to p.save, and then we'll handle that. So if error is not equal to null, then send an http.error w error.error capital. All right. Okay, and then we need to send an http.internal server error. Cool. Now this is all well and good. We're actually edging nearer to the end of this, unless you want to make it look pretty. Then we're gonna keep going for a while. Okay. Now at this point we have a little bit of not a huge problem, but there's a little problem in the app, right? Every time we visit these edit and view pages, right, we are calling the same render template function. And what the template function is doing is it's parsing the files every single time you access the page, which is incredibly inefficient, right? A much better way to do this would be to cache the templates, right? So you're only parsing them once, and then execute those templates only when you need them, okay? Oh, okay. So the way we can do that is we need a global variable that can be accessed by those three functions, right? So in order to do that, let's just create a var. So global variable, we'll use var for that. So we'll just call this templates equals template.must. So template.must is basically a wrapper function. Basically, whatever we put inside here, if it goes wrong, the entire program will just shut down. It will panic, right? Because if we cannot parse the templates, then there's no point running the program. The only sensible thing to do would be to just shut it down at that point. So that's why we're using this wrapper function. In here we can do template.parse files. Okay. We need to parse two files this time because we're going to be using this for two functions. So we can just put in edit.html, and we also need view.html. Okay. Now that we have this global variable, we can strip away a lot of the stuff from the render template function. So we go back down here. This entire thing can basically just go bye-bye. Okie doke. So This obviously has to change as well because we just completely changed everything. So let me just, I kind of just took a trip somewhere that I didn't know where I went. Sorry about that. All right. So in here we'll do templates dot execute template, like so. This takes in W. We will pass in the template name, okay, plus dot HTML, and we also need P, just like before. And I believe this is still gonna stay the same, yeah. Okay, cool. Let me just save, make sure I haven't done anything wrong. Ooh, okay. Let's take a look. What's wrong here? Templates dot execute template W, template name plus dot HTML and P. Why is this not? Oh, sorry, I forgot my colon here. Because we are not reassigning error anymore. We're actually assigning it for the first time in this function. Okay, so now we have a serious security flaw in our app, right? The problem is we want people to enter into the URL one of three words: edit, save, or view. Those are the three keywords we're using. But there's nothing stopping anyone from just using a different keyword and completely bypassing that. So, in order to save our program, we're going to have to validify the URL path when someone's using our app. And if someone's using a different path, we might even just want to completely shut down the app, right? Because they could be trying to maliciously take it down. Obviously, they could have probably just done a typo. But, you know, the latter is probably a bit more concerning. Okay. In order to do this, we're going to use a regular expression, which I'm no good at, right? Regular expressions are mouthy at the best of times. We're going to need a regex package, so regexp is what it's called. That should be in quotations. I'm sorry about that. Okay, we're just going to make another global variable for this as well, because we're pretty much, I think we're going to use it across all three handlers. So var, okay. We're going to call this the valid path. So one of the three valid paths, right? So we're going to do a function, and this function is called regexp dot, geez, I can't type, dot must compile. This is the same as template.must in the sense that if this does not work, so like it says up here, if this does not compile, so if they type in anything other than view, save, or edit, the whole program will just panic and die, right? The whole program will just close because they could be trying to, do something really bad. Okay, so I'm not going to type this out. I can't be bothered to do that. I don't think you guys can either. I'm going to put this in the description as well because there's just no point. Regular expressions is not the point of this tutorial. Alright, and I don't want to have to type that out. Okay. So now we need to go ahead and create a method, or not a method, sorry, a function that will be able to get the title and verify that for us, okay? And then handle the case where they enter a wrong title in case they have a typo or something like that, right? So let's do that below the save function. Let's create a func called getTitle. Get title. Okay, this will take in W and R. Now it will return two types. Okay, it will return both a string, and an error. Okay, so let's just pick a random variable name. M is gonna be equal to valid path with a capital P. Okay, dot find string submatch. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and pass in the r.url dot path. Okay, cool. So this is basically going to go through the URL path, and then it's got to be either edit, save, or view. If it's not one of these, the program panics, right? Okay. If m equals nil, okay, then do an HTTP dot not found. It would be nil because the must compile would not be successful, so therefore the page is not found, right? Okay, then we'll do W and R into that because that is what that function needs, and then we'll do a return. We'll just return an empty string for the string because we can't really do much about that. And then we'll make a new error, so errors.new, okay, invalid page title, okay. And then from here we can come out of this if statement, and if all is good, we can return m. Alright, we're going to need to do square brackets and put a 2 here. Okay, the reason we put a 2 here is because with the URL, in order to get the title, the first sub expression will be edit or save or view or whatever. And then after that, it will be, test or Bob or whatever the title of the article is. So that's why we need a 2 here. We'll also pass in nil here because there's no error in this case. Okay. Cool. Alright, so now we can go ahead and use this in each of our functions. I'll just do a quick save to make sure everything's okay. Oh, sorry, this should be called errors, and you will also need to add that to your import list. So it's literally just called the errors package. So go back up there in case you don't have the Go extension already installed. Okay, so let's go through each of our handlers and go ahead and implement that. So let me just come up here. So we don't need this anymore. We can abstract this away, and we can just say that our title is equal to, with a colon equals. So our title and our error, because there could be a potential error, is going to be equal to get title W and R. Okay. We obviously, we should handle that error. Whenever there's an error variable, you gotta handle it. So if the error is not nil, then just return, just go away. The error message of HTTP dot not found or whatever we put up there will already be sent. You don't need to do anything from this function anymore. Okay, that's all handled with the get title function. We can pretty much copy and paste this throughout all the rest of the functions. Okay, so let's just boop, pop that in there. And boop, pop that in there. Okay. Cool. All right. Cool stuff, right? Cool stuff. All right. So now I believe that should be it. For now, let me just save this and test this, right? P.save, what's the problem here? No variables on left side of Go. No variables on left side. Why is this a problem, my friend? I don't understand what's going on here. No variables, no new variables on the left side of Go. No new variables on the left side of Go. Sorry. We will be reusing this variable that we have up here. So this will just be a colon in the save handler. I believe that goes for everything, right? Yeah, sorry about that. Actually, I think that's fine, right? Because we're actually making new variables as well. I think the save handler is the only one you need to worry about for that. I believe we haven't handled the view handler's error, so we should be fine. Okie doke. I don't actually know how close we are at this point, so we could be really close. We could also not be really close. So if I refresh this, let's see if we got an error message. Ooh, that's rough. Okay, let's carry on with the tutorial. Okay. First of all, I just did a boo-boo. Okay. So let's just do a few more things first. Okay. Before we do this, so we're gonna introduce function literals and closures. Okay. So the first thing we need to do, I also realized that I should probably, before we get into that, we should probably fix up some stuff here as well. We're just going to need to add the other handlers in. So this will be, for example, edit. And this will be, for example, save down here. Okay. All right, that's cool. All right, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Let's introduce function literals and closures. Okay, so first things first, all of these handlers need to have a title. They're going to accept a title, which will be a string. Okay, I'll just copy that and paste it throughout here. So all of our handlers will need a title now. Okay, we're going to make a function called makeHandler. So func makeHandler. Okay, this will take in a function. Okay, which is going to be of type func, which the types of what it's going to accept are http dot response writer. It's also going to accept a pointer to http dot request. Okay, that was a bit, my typing skill is off the charts. And then they're also going to have a string because we just added the title. Okay. Okie doke. So then here, let me just wait. I'm actually confusing myself. So this is going to return an http dot handler func. Okay, cool. So in here we'll just type return, okay, func, and then we'll have w in here. We will have, which what am I doing? This will take in w and r. I'm losing my mind. Okay, we're getting closer to the end, so I'm getting excited. All right, cool. So here we will extract the page title from the request. Okay. So we will basically just copy and paste this code. All right. We are going to change it a little bit, just a little bit. Okay. So let me just take a quick look and see what's going on. Nothing is indented. This is not okay. There we go. Oh, that looks more like it. So let me just take a quick look at what we need to change. So we're returning a function with w and r. We have m equal to a valid path.find string submatch. If m is equal to nil, we will return an http.notfound. Instead of returning this errors, we will just return from the function. We will not return any errors. Okay? And then down here, we are just going to go ahead and type fn, w, r, and m with a little 2 there. Okay? Cool. Then, down in the main function, let's move on down there, okay? Now, instead of sort of just having view handler, we will have make handler, all right, wrapping them. So make handler, wrapping the view handler, right? Okie doke. What did I just do? I'm so dumb. I completely fluffed my chance of doing that efficiently. Okay. Cool. So we will have make handler surrounding them, right? So the next thing we need to do is go ahead and remove the calls to get title. Okay. So remove get title entirely. It's not the best way of doing it. So remove it. Remove it from each of the handlers. Okay, and I believe we can actually just get rid of it altogether. I'm pretty sure we don't even need it at this point. Okay, cool. Let me just save it, make sure there's nothing wrong. There is something wrong. If error is not equal to nil. I'm really sorry, okay? Because we got rid of the get title, this was one of the things that get title was supposed to handle, or not supposed to handle, I don't really know. So we can get rid of it now, okay? We don't need in any of the handlers, okay? We also need to make sure that this is a colon equals because we are not reassigning a variable anymore. Okie doke. Whew. Alright, so at this point, that should be it. One last thing to do If we cannot start the server, we may as well just panic and stop the program. So a way we can do that is by using a method called log.fatal. Okay, and go ahead and wrap that around the listen and serve thing. You'll probably need to add it up here. Yeah, log. Add that import there. Okay. Cool. Whew, we can get rid of these comments as well. This is getting really scary because if this doesn't work, I have to reshoot this entire tutorial. Okay. So at this point, we are going to do a go run main dot go. We're getting a problem. Why am I getting a problem? Why am I getting a problemo? Why are we getting a problem? Printf. Oh, sorry, I made a typo. I just made a typo in one of my templates. All right, that should be a T, not just a print. That's just my bad because I can't spell. Okay, so we can just do go run main.go. Okay, it's working. Let's go here. Let's view the test. Okay, that's working. Why is this here? I just probably left some fmt.printf stuff here. We can get rid of this now. We don't need that anymore. Okay. This is incredibly scary. Wait a minute. 1 second. So, okay, very last thing we need to do, seriously. If we are trying to view a page that doesn't exist, I want them to go straight away to the edit page for that, right? So in order to do that, is the error handling for view handler. We're finally doing it, right? So there's going to be an error here, and then we'll just do if error is not equal to nil, right? Like so. Then we're going to do an HTTP dot redirect WR, okay? And then we'll just do, we wanted to redirect into the edit page, right? So it'll be /edit/ and then the title, okay? And then we'll just type in an http.status found, okay? That should be a dot, not a greater than symbol. And then we will return from this function. http.status found, we need a capital F, okay? Okay, so now we can actually run this for real now and test this out. So if I refresh the page, boom. If I click edit, it will take me to the edit page. And then we can go ahead and just type some random gibberish in here. So some random, how do you spell gibberish? Gibberish, something like that, okay? Save it. This will redirect us to the view page, which is crazy, right? So if I try and view something that doesn't exist, like Bob, okay, it will send me straight to the edit page where I'm editing Bob. And say a Bob is a cool guy, right? And I click save, and boom, it takes me here. I must have made a typo here. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. From here, you can do quite a lot, actually. Some of the, the biggest things I'd suggest you do is make this look better, because it looks pretty bad right now. But, I mean, this is pretty much it. This is the functionality I was looking for. You could try and add, like, a home page of some sort of all the different articles. You could do that by just iterating over all the different text files that we have here. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.